What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have two things on our agenda. First one is the SBE merger with ChargePoint, and the second thing is Workhorse and the issues that I see with Workhorse. So let's jump right into it. So first up, we have ChargePoint. So ChargePoint has agreed to go public at a 2.4 billion valuation with the recent SPAC merger. So ChargePoint, one of the oldest and the largest EV charging networks, is going public by merging with SBE. The transaction is expected to close near the end of the year, and the company will be named ChargePoint Holdings, and they will have their own ticker symbol. In the end of the quarter or end of the year, when the merger does go through, then SBE ticker symbol will turn into ChargePoint ticker symbol, and I'm guessing it might be CP. So we'll see when that happens. But just to kind of continue on the news, the EV charging industry is accelerating, and it's expected that charging infrastructure investment will be 190 billion by 2030. Let's look at the technical analysis real quick and see how the chart reacted to the good news. So guys, for the past couple of days, I've been calling out this stock in our Discord group. If you're not in our Discord group, there's a link below. Make sure you guys go check it out. But I called out SBE before the IPO started, or the news for the IPO started. But the night of, when the IPO news did come out, this stock jumped all the way to about $14.32. And pre-IPO news, it was trading at around $10, right? So right when the news came out, the next morning, it took a big dive at around $11.29, but it picked up momentum, has been trading pretty consolidation yesterday. But guys, this morning at around pre-market, I called out SBE again and I said, hey, a lot of investors are getting the news. People are getting excited. The news is getting out that CP or ChargePoint is going to merge with SBE, and we will see a pop in SBE. And that's exactly what happened today, guys. They went all the way from $12.65 and jumped all the way to $13.89. So that's almost a pretty big gain of about 10% today, guys. And personally, I did get into SBE. I've been in SBE before the IPO. So my price was a little high, but when it dipped yesterday, I went ahead and picked up more shares and averaged down. I picked up more at the open, and I got a good almost 5% today off of this stock, right? And then after that, it kind of consolidated during the afternoon, lunchtime, and in the power hour, more investors came in and pushed the stock back up all the way to 4.36%. And then after hours, it's almost up back to its highs of 5% today, guys. So SBE took off. I definitely feel like there is a lot of room for SBE to grow, especially once this merger is completely official. All the paperwork is submitted, everything is signed and ready to be shipped. That's when I feel like, and also when the ticker symbol changes to ChargePoint, that's when we're going to see a really big upside into SBE. So far in the news, I don't see any reasons why the merger wouldn't go through officially. The CEO already made the announcement from ChargePoint. I mean, they wouldn't publicly say these things if it's not going to happen, you know. So something could come up, but who knows? I feel like there is a lot of room for SBE to grow. I honestly feel like ChargePoint is one of the biggest EV charging station companies throughout the global. They own the most charging stations, as well as they offer at-home charging stations, right? And also the news came out that California is going pure EV by 2035, guys. So that means people are going to need charging stations in their house. There are going to be a lot more charging stations around, even though Tesla has a couple of theirs. But guys, for all the other EV cars that are going to come out, right, they're going to need a charging station too. And guess what? ChargePoint is leading the industry, and they're definitely going to take over. So definitely keep an eye on SBE and see how it reacts. I'm currently not holding any position, but I do want to get in. I'm waiting for a little bit of a pullback once the hype dies down a little bit. And hopefully I'll pick it up around $13.20. That's where I have my eyes on. Or if not, then around $12.17, right? So definitely have my eyes on SBE. So next up, guys, we have Workhorse. So Workhorse has officially came out with the news that on their single charge, a car or their truck can go up to 160 miles, guys. So we're gonna kind of dig in a little deeper with what's the issue I see USPS going into the EV market and converting their entire fleet into the EV vehicles. But I do want to mention one thing, right, guys? It's 160 miles on one single charge. We're going to look at an energy consumption chart real quick. It's a little blurry. Sorry, guys. I found this on the internet. It took me a while to find one, but I did find one. This chart is more like of a cosine, guys. It'll go up and it goes down. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and it goes down. This is when there's a driving mode and then there's a regenerative braking mode, right? And the regen braking mode is when the energy is put back into the vehicle. So when a USPS driver gets into one of the Workhorse cars or trucks, they'll hit the gas. And once they hit the gas, it's going to use a lot of energy. And once the car kind of slows down from one mailbox to another, it's going to start putting that energy back into the truck, which is called the regen braking mode. And then once the USPS driver presses the gas again, it's going to use that energy again. So guys, if a driver, I pulled up a chart to see how much a driver drives every single day, and it looks like from this chart it says 20.8 miles, which I don't feel like is true. I did a little bit more digging, and a lot of other USPS drivers and UPS drivers were saying that some of them drive all the way from 50 miles to like 150 miles a day, guys. So there's a lot of varying answers, but let's just sake of the fact that I have this chart, we're going to go off of this chart. It says that the distance a USPS driver might drive is around 20.8 miles, and the whole trip will last about 6 hours. That's the entire route time for them when they are driving, guys. And imagine 6 hours in an EV car that only gives 160 miles. Is that enough for a USPS driver? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they're going to have to go back to the station, recharge, and then go back to their route so they can complete their route. And in the process of that, as we saw in that chart earlier, they're constantly braking and pressing the gas, braking and pressing the gas. It's just like a traffic, right? It's a stop and go traffic for them, where they're stopping at one mailbox, getting off the car, putting their mail, getting back into their truck, going to the next mailbox, right? Unless they're going to a community mailbox where all the mailboxes are in one location where they can put all the mail in there. And you see that a little bit more often. But I'm talking about in an instance where a USPS truck has to go from one stop to another, one stop to another. So here it says 500 stops. And you also have to remember, guys, these trucks have to be extremely durable because the drivers are constantly getting in and out. They're pressing the gas. There's mail in there. They're throwing stuff inside and outside the truck, right, guys? So these trucks really, really, really have to be durable. So my opinion in this is, I mean, I really love the fact that USPS is going towards the EV industry and kind of converting their entire fleet into EV, or maybe if they do a portion of their fleet to EV instead of doing the whole EV fleet. I feel like there's still a little bit of room to grow for Workhorse. And not only that, we'll look at the little bit of news about Workhorse that recently came out. The composite body C1000 electric delivery van from Workhorse can travel 160 miles on a single charge. Achieving 160 miles has been the goal of ours for quite some time. It significantly expands the addressable market. That's what the CEO said. And when he says addressable market, that's a really good a word to kind of pinpoint at. What does he mean by addressable? Does he mean USPS addressable market, or just like a person who's just driving around, moving stuff from one location to another, right? And after long delays and significant cost pressures, Workhorse is building C1000 and C650 vans in the Union City, Indiana. The company expects to make about 400 vans this year before ramping up production in 2021. So Workhorse is definitely ramping up their production. I mean, they're working on 400 vans this year. They have other contracts as well that they need to fulfill. So they do have a lot of a backlog, and someone will definitely have to hold their hand to keep up with the production if the USPS contract does go to them, guys. So here's a little bit of pro and cons for Workhorse, as well as USPS trying to change their entire fleet to EV. So kind of keep that in mind when you are investing in Workhorse, right? So let's jump into the chart to see how Workhorse did today. So as you guys can tell from the chart, Workhorse did definitely have a big pop. I did mention Workhorse in my video yesterday, and I did say that I have a resistance line at 2367. And guys, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I did call this out yesterday in the video. I did say that if Workhorse breaks this resistance line, it is going to take off. And that's exactly what it did, right? And I did exactly that. I waited until it broke this resistance line. And that was almost about a 8 to 9%, 8 to 8.5% gain you could have picked up today if you watched my video yesterday, guys. So please make sure you guys subscribe so you guys are catching my videos every single day, because I do make these call outs. So that's almost 8.5%, guys. So I did get in. I got in a little bit later. I was a little busy, so I wasn't able to get in right away. So I took up about 5% today on my trade, and then it did pull back like any other stock would, right? What goes up must come down. So it did pull back, and then towards the end of the day, I did pick up a couple of more shares just to hold. And I am going to average up or average down, because the USPS contract, in my opinion, isn't too far away, guys. So definitely keep an eye on Workhorse. I feel like there's some room to grow. There's definitely going to be good news about Workhorse. And based on the technicals, I mean, it did kind of dip. If you do a 6-month chart, it is bouncing off the 180 SMA right now, right? As you guys can see, it kind of bounced off and it's starting to uptrend again. And who knows, guys, it might go back up to where it was at around $31, guys. So I like Workhorse. I'm definitely taking a position, and I am excited for the USPS contract. All right, that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Please check out my custom playlist if you guys want more company analysis. And also don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. See y'all later.